Hey guys, this is Statton. Hey guys, this is Statton. I apologize if I sound different. I was really sick this week, and I'm mostly recovered, but I still think I have a little bit of it left over. But, anyways, really quick, a few weeks ago, I did my very first live stream of my heart to heart stuff, and it's called the Heart to Heart with Statton podcast. Now, it was a little rough around the edges, like most first episodes to podcast are. Uh, Things were a little unorganized, but with that said, and some things didn't go according to plan, but now we've been working at it. We have a Discord room where we're all working together to make plan things out a little better, to where the next episode should get better, and we're hoping to keep on improving. But anyways, I decided to download the very first episode onto a hard drive and remove the first episode from YouTube, then take the video, edit it, polish it up, make it a little better and smoother, and I'm going to repost it today, tonight, the night before the second episode. So without further ado, here's the first episode of the Heart to Heart with Statton podcast. Welcome to the first episode of the Heart to Heart with Statton podcast. I am Statton, and here are my co-hosts. Here's co-host number 1, Lil. Say hi to the viewers.
Hi.
And my co-host number 2, and not the dirty, gross kind of number 2. I mean my second in command, Alderon. Say hi to the viewers.
Hello, everybody.
And here
Wait,
is
second in command. I'm jealous.
And here's our tinfoil hat Avenger from Poland, Hergon.
Hello.
With that said, now the subject. Well, first let me ask, how is everybody doing? Tell us a little bit about yourselves, because I figure if we're gonna make this into a series, we might as well get everybody to know, the viewers to know a little more about all of you.
Who's going first?
Ladies first.
Yeah, ladies.
Should we draw?
Hey, I'm the only lady. And that's gender assumption, by the way. 2024. Hello, people. Alright, well, whatever. I'm Lil. I'm not gonna give out my real name because, well, y'all don't know me that well, so just get over it. Otherwise, I'm a gamer, long-time friend of Stat. Get over it. I don't know, I'm pretty agreeable? No, not agreeable. What am I? Stat, what am I?
You're fun. You're easygoing, lighthearted. You joke around a lot.
I threaten to. Don't let the niceness get a hold of you. Otherwise, I'm great. Yay! Okay, somebody else.
Alderon, you're up next.
I don't know what to say, really. Just, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm okay. Got a lot of adventure in
Well,
my
thank
life
God you're alive.
Got the adventures going on. In my life, so yeah, we're here.
You have a dog. You mentioned a dog
Yes, I
earlier.
have a couple dogs, couple cats,
Dogs.
and some fish. Got a fish. Goldfish that turned white.
Does that mean they're dead?
No, it has to do with the, how do you want to call it, I guess the chemistry of their water. If it's pH too high or pH too low, or not the proper type of water for the fish, it will cause the brain of the fish to tell its body to change colors. It's a weird thing.
Got it.
Now,
Yeah,
next. Oh, sorry. Continue.
you're good. It's a confusing thing. But yeah, I'm here. Got here with Stat, who's up next.
I'm not up next. Everybody knows about me.
Yes.
It's Hergon that's
come
next.
on. Come
Okay,
on.
so I'm your favorite tinfoil Avenger. I will not disclose any important details about myself, since the name is name kind of obliges me, because they might be listening.
Oh boy.
I know Statton for quite a while.
So the subject I want to talk about with everybody, you guys and the viewers, is a very touchy subject, but one that, if used right, can actually be a good motivation, and that is shame.
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 Shame on you.
Okay,
Never
so
heard of it. What is it?
So here's my issue on the matter. We're living in today's society where we have this mentality, you shouldn't shame anyone for anything. And while I am in partial agreement with that there are some things I shouldn't be, you shouldn't shame people for, there are some things out there where people actually do need to be shamed on. And it's like, I got a few examples. Some are very extreme. I'm sorry, but as if you are like out there and you're doing inappropriate stuff to kids, yeah, you're lucky that being shamed is the only thing that's being done to you. You deserve to have done worse to you. That's a very extreme example, but an example nonetheless. Now, I could be wrong, but I am of the firm belief that if you really want to remove boundaries and remove what is morally correct, removing shame is the quickest way to do it. We've got 40-year-old neckbeard men who live in their mother's basement. They don't shower. They don't try to better themselves. And why do they have no motivation to better themselves? Because they have no, what is it? Shame. They were never taught shame. Now, let's be honest. Shame is an unpleasant thing to feel. I get it. But that's the point. That's what motivates us to better ourselves, to do better in life. And that's all. And it's also this whole it shouldn't shame people mentality. So when people do stuff wrong, it's not them that's the wrong, but the people that shame them for it that's in the wrong. Okay, so if that's the case, we're getting thinner skinned as a result of it. We don't like being told what we're doing is wrong, even if it is wrong. And we're supposed to be taught that as kids, we're supposed to be brought up knowing shame, because that's what motivates us to grow up to be respectable adults. Now, granted, I'm kind of paraphrasing, compacting in time, because I've talked for 2.5 minutes on this already nonstop, but that's because I'm trying to give you all a chance to talk about it. And once the timer runs out, we will open the chat to all you viewers out there to jump into the VC channel, which, by the way, the link to the description, the link to my Discord server where you can chat with us out loud, is in the description of all my YouTube videos, so feel free to check it out. So with that said, I turn it to all of you three now. Based on everything I've said, what are your thoughts on the matter? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And why? And just what are your thoughts in general?
Okay, being a mom, because I don't know if you two are parents, I wouldn't say I teach my children shame, so to speak. I teach them consequence. So, I mean, I feel like it's a little, I don't know, I know, if my kids do something wrong, I don't go like, oh, I don't go about it in like such a bold way, like, hey, you need to feel shame about this. I would go, hey, this is the consequences for your actions if you do this. Otherwise, it's up to you whether you do this or not. You know, I mean, of course, I'm your parent, so therefore, you know, if you do the wrong thing, I'm going to have to, of course, take action for that for you, since you don't know well enough. But otherwise, shame, I feel like, is kind of a second nature for all people. Those who ignore it are actively ignoring it because they just don't care enough, I feel like.
And then you get branded as a sex pest.
Hey, what?
Hey, what?
And then you get branded as a sex pest down the road if you don't adhere to all that.
Okay, so that's a term I don't know. What is that?
Well, it's a different. I might be misusing the term, but it's more of a. You know how there's like in those old TV shows you have that some dude is arrested because he was flashing people in the park, opening the trench and shit. That kind of thing.
Are you talking about like indecent exposure?
Yes. I'm probably not using the correct term, but I think it's one down the road might lead to another if people just ignore shame completely, but that's an extreme case.
Oh, so like a gateway situation.
Yes. You might say that, yes.
Once again, that's an extreme example, but it's an example nonetheless, and there is truth to it because the lack of teaching the lack of shame always starts out with little things, and it kind of graduates. And one other thing is I have a coworker. His name is Todd, and he's I could be wrong on his age. He looks like he's in his late 50s. He might be younger or older. I'm not sure. Todd, if I got your age estimation wrong, I truly apologize if you're listening to this. But he actually gave off a good example. He's like, things in the immoral sense always start out small, and at the time they don't seem like that big of a deal, and in the grand scheme of things they're not. But he said, look at what they graduate into afterward. And he gave the example of Elvis Presley. He's like, back in the day when he was on stage and he shook his hips, everybody just made a big deal out of it, how that was immoral. And he's like, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't. But look what it's graduated into over the years. Look at what's happening on stage now compared to what things were like back in his days. It's like it always starts out as things that are small and no big deal, but then when you start to chip away at the shame, suddenly we start to push the envelope further and further, and we push the line back further and further. And what then? And it's like if we don't teach people shame, there's absolutely no motivation. We have no line to draw for ourselves. And you say you don't teach your kids shame, but I think people that say they don't do it without realizing it, like, for example, Lil, have you ever done something that you felt guilty about? You don't have to say what it is, but I'm just saying it's a yes or no question because I think we all have. Have you done something where you felt guilty about something? Like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, or oh, I wish I had thought this one through a bit more.
Yeah, no, all the time.
That right
it's
there.
It's a natural course of action.
That's shame. It's shame. That shame,
yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
shame.
But I'm saying when it comes to like teaching the kids and all that, it's not, you're not labeling it as shame. That's just, I mean, I feel like that's going to be confusing to the children. So like, what I do is just teach them consequence. Obviously, if they break said consequences or whatever, they're going to feel the actions of said consequences. That's what I mean.
I don't think it's confusing at all. When I was a little kid, I had the words "shame on you" thrown at me a few times, and I didn't feel at all confused by it. I mean, I'm just saying that that's just my opinion on the matter.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just never worded it that way when it comes to my kids. But then again, I mean, like I said, I try to teach them rules and things of that nature.
Yeah, you see, that's what I mean. There's a simple establishment right there. I mean, you may word it different, but you're delivering the same message, though. The way I see it, I could be wrong on that. That's how I'm interpreting.
No, you're right.
I was just thinking. Remember that Elvis example you gave? Elvis thing.
Yeah.
Well, if it goes for shame, I mean, there's should be some sort of distinction of what we're talking about and what is the what we're trying to go with here. Because, for example, a friend of mine uses a very nice comparison about how things progressed and everything in our lives whether it be history, morality, or reaction, as my esteemed co-guest said, is if you push things too far in one direction, at some point that pendulum, metaphorical one of course, is gonna stop and is gonna start going the other way. So I'm guessing that there was like this very much puritanical sense of things before the 50s and a little bit 40s, and way before that, right? Let's be honest. Aside certain things, because that would also depend on the country, right? But I think the distinction is at some point it's a natural progression that things loosen up a little bit. But the most important thing is where we say stop. Let's think about what we're doing. The realization that do I really want to do this? And nobody, at some point, we're getting through. For example, as you said, the neckbeards thing, or letting yourself go, no incentive, no motivation to better yourself, or just to maintain, or whatever is this the case. But for example, we're getting from women having skirts above the ankles in I think 40s or something, and now we're getting to the Walmart people. Let's call it that. It's an extreme case, I know, but you know what I mean, right?
Right.
So at that point, we gotta think about where do we say stop and on which occasion, because things need to be discussed. Not everything needs to be monitored or kind of controlled, but some things need to be paid attention to and maintained on one way or another.
Okay, I'm confused. Not about what you said. I'm just in general. Like, Stat, what are we? Why are we? Why this subject? Why did this come up? Is there a premise for all this?
Yes, there is actually. You see,
What did you do?
no, well, not. It's a. Well, maybe I misunderstood. It's not. I mean, I've done a lot of things here, but that's not what I did. That's the reason that I'm talking about this. But it's because so many times there's so many people on social media, and this bothers me. People say you shouldn't shame this person, you shouldn't shame that person. It's like, okay, but we can't even out of concern tell people that what they're doing may be destructive on their part. No, that's shaming. Mm-hmm. So we're getting to where we either have to agree with the person and just let them step off the cliff on themselves and have them suffer their own consequences.
Dad, are you talking about cancel culture?
Well, that's one of the things, but I think cancel culture has happened as a result, because if you notice, before cancel culture actually became a thing, it all started with this anti-shaming thing, and it graduated into the cancel culture. I've noticed that pattern. Things this extreme always start out with small things that appear good at the time, but end up evolving into something very destructive.
Well, to me, cancel culture is if you commit something that a group of people dislike, they shame on you and try to bring you down to where you are no longer up on your own platform or podium, so forth. To me, that group is just the actual shame itself. They're shaming you. Oh, you believe, let's say a very thing I see on social media that I see a lot is if you lean one side, like in a political stance, you lean on one side or the other, or you agree with this one person over the other, and they don't like that one person because they had an experience or an event that happened in the 90s or the early 2000s. Oh, you got a platform, we're gonna cancel you, we're gonna dislike you, we're gonna technically boycott you, not watch you, tell others, and just pretty much to shut you down. That's to me what cancel culture is. It's another way of shaming and bringing others down.
Unfortunately, they don't see it as shaming because it's the whole they can dish it out but they can't take it thing.
It's a one-sided street. They just want it when it's convenient for them.
That's the problem though. People don't want to be shamed because they don't want to be told that they're wrong on what they're doing, no matter how obvious it is to the outside viewers. Like, okay, I mean, like, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna pretend to be perfect. I know I do things that are wrong, and every time I make a mistake or do something wrong, I do feel ashamed for it. And when I do, instead of getting mad at people that called me out on it, I should actually be using that. I should stop and think, okay, they say I should be ashamed. Let's stop and let me observe this from the outside perspective. Am I really doing something wrong, or is it just something that people think are wrong? But people don't want to do that. They don't want to think about it. They just want to automatically jump to the victim mentality. Oh, I'm being attacked here, so I don't know. I don't even want to consider what they're saying. And that's where the anti-shaming thing comes in. You can't reason with people that are anti-shame. They won't listen.
So,
Not to mention sorry. Go on.
no, you're fine. I feel like this is becoming really vague, and for viewers' sakes, I'm just thinking of a perspective of listening to this. You have to understand we can't breach on freedom of speech or opinion. So like you're allowed to feel shame or shame others. I mean, okay, not allowed. I mean, you're allowed to have your opinion
within reason.
Could be viewed, no, hold on. You're allowed to have an opinion. That's simple as that. I mean, if you try to stop somebody's opinion, then you're basically stopping their freedom of speech. You can't do that. However, you can disagree with said opinion. That's okay.
Yes.
As long as you guys both equally understand you disagree or agree or whatever the case may be, and it's on a level ground without getting all uppity about it, then it's just a discussion at that point. It's not a debate.
Yes.
So, that being said, whether they're shaming you or not, it's really on perspective. If you feel offended by whatever this person is telling you because you feel like it's shaming you, then you need to voice up saying, hey, I feel offended by this.
Well,
and if they change their actions in recognition of that, then it's no longer shame at that point, it's discussion. However, if they keep on going on their weird cancel culture or shaming, then yeah, they're wrong, or not wrong. At that point, they're being a troll or, they're just being a dick. Sorry for the words, but
that's just my point exactly. You see, we're going a little over the time limit, but it's like the problem is the thing is, my point is people become way too offended at the fact that there are people that don't agree with them. Like, how many times do people go online, voice a situation, and say, what do you guys really think? I want to know your opinions. How many of those people really want the opinions, and how many of them are just seeking validation? And they get mad when they find out that there are people that are disagreeing with them instead of validating them.
Well, I think that a lot of these people that are involved in this kind of cancel culture they want their viewpoints confirmed because they want to know that they're in the right, they're in the clear, they're virtuous, they're beautiful, and blah blah yada yada yada. Thing is, a lot of that cancel culture is, and I wanted to touch about it, is a lot of it is shifting the blame, because a lot of stuff when they're, well, you're this and that, and you're a very very bad person, right? But apparently I noticed that there's a lot of projection in those kind of accusations of those people, and it's like there's nothing worse looking at somebody yelling at somebody and pointing a finger yelling thief, but you're holding the bag with the loot. And where it goes there is they want to have it confirmed that what they did is right, and there's gonna be no consequences. Same thing as just, it's all just so very very very, like, I don't really like to use this kind of term about this kind of topic, but generally, I feel this entire culture stuff is kind of a little bit grimy, and it's even
A little
based
what?
grimy. It's in its base. Its base concept of it is just we're gonna shut down people we don't like, so we're gonna do whatever we want. And if somebody says anything about it or is contrary to what we want to believe, we're gonna mob on it.
Now, just for clarification, let me use us as an example, Lil. You and I don't agree with everything but you don't take offense out of the. You don't treat it as a personal insult when I disagree with you, nor do I treat it as a personal insult when you disagree with me. We are able to talk peacefully and not take it so personally. That's how everybody should be.
Because I understand that you have your opinion and I have mine.
Yeah,
and that's just the way it should be. I mean,
but unfortunately,
the problem that you're having online is that people have all these voices that want to be heard, and that's simply what it is. It's just people want their voices to be heard. So you can't fault the people for wanting their voices heard. The only thing I would suggest, if anybody's listening to this, is that rather than try to fight the fight, you need to instead just try to be the bigger person, even if the other person's not going to be the bigger person.
I don't fault the people for wanting to be heard. Where I do,
no, I'm not saying you do.
Where I do fault them is where they act like they're a victim when they come across someone who doesn't agree with them, and they feel like they're being attacked and that they're being shamed. Oh, shouldn't be shamed. It's like, it's not a matter of shaming. You see, I should be allowed to have my own opinion and disagree with you without being considered a hater, but it seems like today that can't seem to be. I mean, it can be if people but to do that, to be able to be disagreed with without taking it so personally, you'd have to come to accept a few things. One, shame makes us human. You're not perfect. There are things that we're going to all do that we're going to feel ashamed of. I can tell you right now, I'm one of them. I'm not going to pretend to be perfect. I'm not going to say there's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I am ashamed of some of the things in my past, but I'm using that to better myself. And rather than take it as a personal attack when people say, oh, by the way, Statton, I disagree with you on what you say, I'm okay with that. You're free to disagree with me. The only thing I ask is two things. One, give me the reason why you disagree so that I can look into it. And two, if you're going to quote what I say in the process, don't twist it. I've had people twist my words in the past and claim I said something when really I didn't say anything of the sort. And that's all I ask on the matter. And if you have a point, hey, I'll say it. And if you say something to me and it's something I haven't thought about, I'll say, you might have something there. I just need a little time to look into it. So I'll get back with you at a later time, sort of thing.
Well, the problem is here a lot of people with these kind of arguments, well, the group we've been talking to about, of course, and not all of them, but have this kind of, forgive the maybe a misused term, but the main character syndrome. I have to be right and everybody else has to be wrong and they have to listen to me. And the entire action and philosophy seems to be lost on people recent days, at least. I'm not sure why, but society seems to be more polarized than ever. It's the practicing and saying and practicing this particular sentence. Let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I have no idea where that came from. Sorry, has that been lost to? Sands of time. if you will.
I'm okay with the whole disagreeing to disagree. We gotta get rid of the victim mentality is my thing. I mean, you're human. Nobody expects you to be perfect, so don't take it as a personal attack when people don't find you to be perfect, I guess is what I'm getting at. And the reason I chose this as the first subject is because one, for all of you that are listening, I'm sorry I'm late on opening it up to public chat, but is when we're doing these podcasts, it isn't always going to be serious subjects like this. Sometimes we're going to do fun things like critiquing movies or reliving life experiences that we all hope that we can use to better people. And yes, just so you know, I'm talking to the co-host now. If any of you have any ideas for subjects for future heart-to-heart videos, all you guys got to do is DM me, and yeah, we can see where we can take it. But the point is if you're gonna listen to this, the point is if you all are gonna listen to this podcast, and I'm talking to the viewers now, you're gonna have to realize one thing: you're gonna hear things that you will agree with, and you're gonna hear things that you're gonna disagree with. And if you disagree with it, you don't need to get mad or act like you're being attacked. You're not being attacked. You're not being hated. This is the way I see it. This is going to sound like a contradiction on the surface, but this is a safe space for people to express their opinions freely, but it's not safe from disagreements. People are going to disagree with you. If you're looking for universal acceptance, it isn't going to happen no matter where you go. The sooner you come to realize that and accept it, ironically, the happier you will be, because you'll stop caring if the entire world agrees with you or not. And suddenly that stress leaves your shoulders.
Hey, Stat.
Yes.
Not to be that person, but I would be that person. You bring up the subject of shame.
Yeah.
And how people need to stop victimizing and things like that. So basically, stating an opinion, which is fine.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, for you to come in here and don't expect to be disagreed with. I mean, it just kind of seems contradictory a little bit.
I don't see how it's contradictory, because you're not a victim. I'm saying it's okay for people to disagree with you, and it's okay for people to disagree with me. I'm not going to take it personal. I'm just saying you're free to express your opinion here. You're not going to be censored unless you are disruptive or you're saying a lot of really disturbing things, which you'd have to say some really extreme things. I think you know where I'm going with this. But
like somebody like the Acolyte or something? I don't know.
No. Like I mentioned this earlier. If there was someone on here talking about how they're for underage children or whatnot, then yeah, you're done. I mean, that's an automatic disqualification from public chat here on the podcast, as far as I'm concerned. But that you'd have to be that extreme for me to censor. But if someone came up to me into the public chat and said, "Hey, Statton, I think you're an idiot. You're stupid. I disagree with you, and here's what," I'm going to listen, despite the insults, despite the aggression. I'm going to sit back and listen, and I'm actually going to consider the words. If they have a point, hey, I got no problem in admitting to it. But if I still disagree with them, likewise, I'm still going to voice it out. I don't see how that's a contradiction.
I'm not saying... Okay, sorry. I guess what you were saying and what this is... I'm getting confused. I'm lost in the subject here.
That's fine. That's understandable.
My view, I guess, is that, yes, there's shame out there. There's people out there who complain. And maybe it's too sheep-like, but, let them have their opinion. If they don't like it, they don't like it. If they do, they do. I mean, if people fight on the internet, that's people fighting on the internet. I care less if people fighting on the internet. It's society.
But that's the point. That's the problem, Lil, is the fact of the matter is it isn't limited to just online. It's limited to real life now, too. People don't want to listen to each other, and people are closing off on each other, they're they would rather be in their own echo chambers rather than consider the possibility that there might be other ways that are actually the correct ways. And if you close yourself off, what do you learn in the end? I feel like even if
Yes.
I feel like even if I were to talk to someone else and we both came out of it disagreeing with each other, I would still listen to what that person had to say at least, and I would still feel like I came out learning something regardless.
But you're the change that you can't expect everyone to act like you. You just have to be that person that continue being the person that is you, be
Yeah.
that change so that other people are inspired by you. But what I'm saying is that you can't be throwing that everyone term out every 5 seconds because otherwise you're just going to create enemies. So just accept it is what it is and just be that change that wants to, by being yourself so other people are inspired by you. If that makes sense.
Lead by example.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. And like I said, this is only for this episode too. This isn't going to be like an every single time we have a podcast.
No, I know. I'm just saying for the specific. I can't say it. All right, maybe we should let other people talk.
Oh yes, we have really lost track with time. So for the viewers out there, which there doesn't seem to be any right now, but that doesn't surprise me. This is the first episode, and luckily YouTube turns live streams into videos, so people could always check them out later. So, but for anyone that's interested in voicing their thoughts and opinions, go to the link that leads to my Discord server. Hop into the podcast VC. And tell me what your thoughts and opinions are and whether if you agree or disagree. So meanwhile, while we wait for people to jump in, if they do, and if not, that's also fine. So yeah, I just want to say I do agree with all of you on that one. You are correct, and I didn't think I was saying it once every 5 seconds though, but I do.
I'm
see
not
your
exaggerating.
point. Yeah, I'm. But that's the thing. This is just as much of a learning experience for me as it is for the viewers. I'm hoping.
You know me, Stat. I just agree with you.
No. I get it.
No, I'm just being shit. It's fine. I'm joking.
Stop it! Your words are violence.
Are they?
I don't know.
Honestly,
I can tell you violence.
when you were mentioning shame for the first time, Sam, all I was thinking was that picture of you and Aldriana in Elder Scrolls in the bushes. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yes. I forgot about. Oh. Yeah, I.
The white hand when
You got something to reveal here?
Oh, if you go to the dining room and scroll up, you'll see Alderon's thumbnail for his live stream with us and Elder Scrolls, and it's quite an awkward pick.
Well, I can explain that one. I didn't pick that one. That was YouTube's idea, just a screenshot for a random spot in the video, and that was it. So that's on the YouTube, not me. Nope. Although I kind of wish I can claim that, but that's all on YouTube on that.
That works.
Dirty YouTube.
I have no regrets.
You never do when it comes to your characters.
It was.
He has no shame.
Nah, there needs to be more females in this shit.
Or maybe not, maybe on the next episode, bring a friend.
Maybe we should. Maybe I should.
I don't have friends.
Maybe I should ask Chris if she wants to join sometime.
Yeah.
Though I was actually thinking it's kind of weird, coinkydink, so to speak. Forgive the expression. The first episode was about the subject was about shame, and your specific nickname on Discord is a very very suggestive one.
Mine?
Mine?
Yes, smut reader.
Hell yeah. Are you? My name is very much understandable.
It actually threw me off. I just look on Discord and this is brand new picture and a new name. I'm like, hey, is this a new person? So I'm just sitting there kind of lurking and like, who the hell is this? Anybody? And they're just talking normal. Stats talking normal. Ergon's talking normal. I'm like, okay, I'm a little out of the loop here. What just happened? And then I see Stat go, hi, Will. I'm like, oh. I spent how many days trying to ponder this, or who's this? Just to come and find out.
I totally
it's you.
forgot that when you change your Discord name and picture in one Discord group, it changes it for all of them. So when I went back onto his, I was like, whatever.
Yeah, you need to pay like I think you have to pay money to change it individually for each individual.
Oh, screw that! I'm not paying money for that crap. Y'all are just gonna have to deal with my ever-changing name status. It's like, changing the drapes on your curtains. You just gotta do it every so often. And if mine's slightly inappropriate, well then y'all can just deal. If you don't like it, then block me.
We would never block you.
I mean, if you did, I wouldn't care.
And I thought our friendship meant something.
Stat, you know me.
Well, I mean, your friendship did mean something to you.
Until I blocked her, and then she's like, win some, lose some.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the whole "it is what it is" phrasing. You don't want to be my friend? There's the door. Don't let the door hit you on the ass as you leave.
And then he leaves and it's, how dare you?
He would never leave.
Yeah, it's my server.
It's even. Well, I mean, yeah,
out.
we won't talk for like a week or so, and I'll be like, "Stat," and immediately, usually within like minutes, "What's up?"
Yeah, I'm like
every time.
I'm like the babysitter or the guardian of Discord. As soon as someone messages me, my phone vibrates. I'm like, oh, let's see. I hope everything's all right. Is everything all right?
Every time.
Emergency?
I'll just say hi, and he'll be like, "Hi." And I'll be like, yeah, okay, bye.
Honestly, I would be actually very amused if it turns out that he actually has a bat signal plugged into his phone every time somebody messages on Discord and he plays the bat and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it flashes a beam of light to the ceiling. It's like a pair of boxers or something.
Dad, you only told that to me. Why did you tell everybody about your secret bat signal?
It's okay, you're the only one that can shine it.
That's what she said.
Okay. That was awkward. I guess I kind of set myself up for that.
Yep.
This is what you get for adding me onto the Discord. I'm just that random bit of chaos.
I regret nothing.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I can imagine him letting you into the room and saying, huh, the nickname's Smudger. Nah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
No, it's fine. If you don't like it, like I said, not my problem.
So, anyways, we are going a little over the time. But that's okay because we had a late start, so I don't mind going over if none of you mind going over for maybe an extra 5 to 10 minutes.
No, we keep going. I was just gonna say, like, this is the perfect how, with the topic of having shame and learning shame and having no shame. There's a point where you could be okay with not having shame of what we're doing. We're enjoying our topic here. We're enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
Talking about it, and we're agreeing. We're not having it's having no shame. It's okay to that point to have no shame onto a certain thing. I think this is a perfect example of, we're talking, kind of, some people are like, oh, you're saying this on a live podcast? No shame, but we're
I think this is
watching
kind of
ourselves.
mild compared to most podcasts. This is
Yeah.
See, viewers, we can have
on
this.
top of things.
So long story short, listeners, if you do not have shame, you're gonna end up a bunch of degenerates, just like us.
See, viewers, we can have
I'm not a
talks and
degenerate.
debates like this without being at each other's throats.
Yeah.
I'm a lady.
Because the real violence starts when the stream ends.
Yes, meetings
I thought we were going
after.
to talk about my violence. I thought we were going to talk about my violence after this. I
Oh.
haven't had enough coffee yet.
Yeah,
Really, I'm just a dominatrix in the background.
No thing we're gonna. Okay, so before we reach the end, it's time for me to bring up the
Okay.
advertisements. Okay,
Oh no, here we go.
this podcast is brought to you by Alderon's YouTube channel. Feel free to check out his channel. He has different games that I have yet to play, and if you like what you see, subscribe to him. And it's also brought to you by. I'll have to double check if I get it wrong. I apologize, but my niece's Twitch stream called Blaze Liz. Or Liz Blaze, one of the two. Either way, I'll be making a video advertising it, so I'll get it right. And then the final thing to advertise is I got a Venmo account attached to this channel. That's for optional donations. Donations are not required, but they are appreciated. Now, with that said, does anyone have any closing remarks or comments or anything?
I would say is really understand shame and learn it and express it and learn how to use it and teach it and don't abuse it.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's something that we can. Yes, it's something we can take and learn, but don't let it get too far. Where it can lead to anxiety, depression, you're closing yourself out from others, changing your behaviors. Don't let it get that far. Learn it and accept it. And if you're feeling shame, talk about it. Talk to someone about it.
Amen, brother Alderon. Hallelujah. It's like, okay.
Accept
Or better
responsibility.
yet, rather than doom scrolling about your shameful subject that you're listening to, because you're the one who has control of whatever you're looking at, nobody else, how about you just nod and turn off the tablet or TV or phone and go outside and touch some freaking grass?
I do that a lot, believe it or not.
Yeah, that you do.
what if somebody's allergic?
Then,
Well, then
Benadryl.
touch rocks. Touch rocks. Touch a cat. Touch somebody's penis. I don't know. Do something.
Excuse me?
She said penis.
Moving on now. Anyways,
But
Oh, sorry, 10:15 for those who are educated.
We're still
I
getting
should
down to that.
I should rename this the Derailed Podcast.
You had me involved. This was gonna get derailed.
I got a better name. The Degenerate Cast.
But
I'm
Hergon,
not
you
even
have
gonna-
yet to
I'm
give
not
us your
gonna-
closing thoughts.
Mine?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
let
did.
shame work for you, because usually shame, in moderation and of course with reason, can be used to prevent you to getting yourself into situations you would not want to get yourself into in the first place. Not allowing yourself to, well, just say, going overboard with whatever activity is that you're currently engaging in. Or
Wait.
would you plan?
how about we do our next podcast as to one of our favorite games? Talk about video games and the changes it had on people and society, and how about like how it's changed since from the 90s all the way up to now.
I'm
about
actually for that idea. How do
Let's just exclude Baldur's Gate 3 because we all know what that game does, and that's a whole kettle of fish we don't
I
want
just
to.
beat it last night and I freaking love it.
You love what?
Baldur's Gate 3?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah, it's a great game, but certain activities which you can, but not necessarily should, or you have a lot of options.
Are you talking about? Are you
Not
talking
all
about
enough.
Storing the Bear?
I was trying to work around it so Statton doesn't have a heart attack, but yes.
But you should have seen the squirrel's face. It was so intrigued by what
There was
well, if you play the Dirge Saga, you kill the squirrel.
Oh, I think I'm gonna need antidepressants after this podcast.
Oh, let's not be over dramatic. Let's remember the agree to disagree. Agree to
No,
disagree.
No, it's I agree with her completely, but I didn't know about the horror thing. It's just the thing that if we were gonna be talking about that it's and that we have certain restrictions.
Okay, so we'll make rules. We won't get too involved in its sexual content.
Can you hear the glaring disapproval in her voice?
What?
Okay. Let's do a happy medium thing. I'm not gonna censor you guys to where you can't talk about it at all. Just try not to be too graphic or anything. Bear in mind, people. I came out of the closet as a pastor here. People know I'm a pastor, and this is not a good look right now.
Look, Statton,
You should not have used being out of the closet with being a pastor. That just makes you sound like a gay pastor.
Yeah, I was about to say that you shouldn't put these two sentences together because that doesn't give you the result you think it
They
should
get the humor. At least I hope they do.
They don't.
It's called putting two and two together.
Yeah, that you're a gay pastor.
No.
Honestly, I just imagine that Elder Scrolls things from him. That
Speaking
Elder
of
Scrolls.
Netflix,
Can you imagine him being framed on social media with that Elder Scrolls picture when he's naked in the
oh,
bush?
trust me, I have way more things to prank him with. Trust me, I have a slew of 6+ years of content to prank him with. It's not a problem. My point.
But now we're gonna have to talk a little bit more furtherly on that.
With
Once
that,
the podcast is over.
hold on. I
You
got.
know what we should also do with our next podcast, Stat? We should talk about how you and I met on said video game.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good story.
No, you love telling it.
And I was there when it happened.
No, you weren't.
Were you?
I was not there in person, but I was there, at the time working with him.
Oh yeah.
Can you not say it like Elrond? I was there when it happened 3,000 years ago.
No, Stat, seriously, was he?
No, he wasn't with me. He and I met before I met you, and he and I were coworkers. Then
That's
and it led to a series of events between that. If they hadn't happened, you and I would have never crossed paths, and I don't even think this podcast would even be happening.
So it's your fault.
Because you're the one that introduced me to Discord.
Oh, true.
I didn't even know Discord even existed before you.
Look at me corrupting you little by little.
I am
I
not.
get the very.
I already am corrupted, if anything. I mean, that okay.
Because the dude that was walking around naked around freaking Neverwinter.
I'm less than perfect. We'll say it that way. I try my best.
Uh.
I'm not evil, or I don't know how to word it right. You got me verbally confused now. I don't know what to do.
we got him flustered.
And you know what? That means I succeeded. So therefore, the end of the podcast is done.
Agreed. So with that said, this is where we shall end the podcast. Everybody, say goodbye to the viewers.
No.
Adios.
Tell them you love them.
Whoa.
I'm not saying that.
Say it.
Say it.
I love
He
you.
loves looking at porn.
I think I got a stroke. Oh.
He's saying he loves you with tongue.
He loves looking at porn.
Oh no. He's lying. I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Giving you mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
Well, you got a party now.
And with that said,
Oh yeah, I do voices.
this has been episode 1 of the Heart to Heart with Statton podcast. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and that was the first episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my Discord server if you're interested, called Statton's Mansion. I leave a link in the description below every video. Plus, you'll need to be a part of that server if you want to be on during the times of the live stream, where you can step into the voice chat and join us in the subjects that we talk about. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I have a Venmo account attached. The link is attached to the description of every video, where where for donation purposes. Donations are not required, but they are appreciated. Anyways, my name is Statton. Like, share, and subscribe, and y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.